So this is the best deck in the game in terms of bang for your buck. Just to give you a perspective, every other deck on this list, for the most part, all the way down to about here, is about 24,000 dust, all the way up to 30,000 dust. Whereas this one, the deck that I'm showing you right now, is only 6,000. And people are probably going to complain like, hey, this is just a dumb, brain-dead aggro deck. But you have to think, as a beginner player, you have to start somewhere. And if this is the only deck that you can play, it's unfair for someone to have to wait 3, 4, 5 months just to maybe even get constructed with a singular deck. This is the best deck for you if you want to start initially climbing the ranks and no longer be an iron for a while. This deck is, as I already exclaimed, is an aggro deck. You want to play a minion turn 1. Turn 2 is also generally a minion. Legion Grenadier is usually actually you want to play. And then block with it is a lot of the is something that I find myself doing with a lot. Obviously, you want to hit with it too, but if you play it defensively and block a bigger minion like a 4/3, it's super efficient. And the same thing goes for the Used Cask Salesman. These are just like little things that I've picked up over time. Is some of these cards in an aggro deck are actually better used defensively. This card summons 2 little casks. These little dudes can be used as blockers. Transfusion can be used aggressively, but also can be used to bait out removal and then have a different minion get buffed. Mystic Shot can be used as a removal or direct damage. You have to decide for yourself when you want to do that. And it has some nice little combos with the Crimson Disciple as well. When it survives damage, deal 1 or 2 to the Nexus, so you can get some value trades in with it. You can ping it with some of your own stuff to get some extra damage. And then obviously you have like a big late game deal 4 damage to the Nexus card. This deck is all around really good. It teaches some basic mechanics about like triggers and stuff, like if he targets something with Grasp of the Undying, you can use Noxian Fervor on that card to kill it yourself, so that way his Grasp of the Undying no longer has a target. It fizzles, he ends up wasting 5 mana, whereas you get to deal 3 damage to his face. And overall, it's a really good deck. I would recommend it. I'm 23-3 with it. I don't know if I've mentioned that part. And up until probably about gold or platinum, this deck will do absolutely phenomenally for you. So before you click away, just a quick spiel about myself. I am a multi-season Legend player in Hearthstone. I played Magic for years, and I'm playing this game as a free-to-play player. I just started playing it recently, and this is by far the best deck that you could possibly have in this current game right now, right? Like, if you're a new player jumping into this, although I didn't get a 1-drop and I have like 8 or 9 in my 40-card deck, it's a little tilting, but whatever. Although this deck is kind of a meme, and people might get upset by the fact that this is a pretty pure aggro deck, this deck is probably the best deck in the game for new players. I'm 19-3 with it. I've done almost nothing but win, and the only games that I've lost have been the hard counter for this deck, which is a Shadow Isles Piltover deck that gives you a decent amount of healing and can withstand your damage. But if you don't play that deck, you, generally speaking, win. And let me explain all the reasons why this deck is so good, right? And not even just because it's aggro, but because it's just, in general, a good card, or a good deck in general. It teaches you timings, so you know, like, how you're supposed to do stuff. If that makes sense, like, okay, if he's gonna kill one of my units, or it teaches you fast or not, or if he's gonna kill one of my units, there's a Fervor card that does 3 damage to your own unit and then 3 damage to anything, you'll be like, okay, I understand how the timing of this game works, so that means I'm able to use that card on my own minion to kill it, to fizzle or cancel his card and ultimately still do 3 damage. It teaches you little mechanics like that. It teaches you when to trade and when to go face. It's overall just a really, really good deck, in my opinion. There are also strategies to it, like when should I just go hard face? Like right now, I've got no minions to play, so there is no reason to not just hard face right now. I've got a ton of damage in hand. Depending on how he blocks, I might do one thing or another. Theoretically, I should have played this first, but if I had done that, he would have had an opportunity to respond to it and play another minion, which means I probably would have had to deal with a bigger minion. So this way, my 2/3 doesn't take any damage. I do a chip damage. It gets me a card, and overall, it's pretty alright. Even if he wants to pump that 1/1, which I don't think he does, it overall just nets me 1 card. And now, as you can see, he's low on health. The deck is super cheap, too. Like, for those of you who are hating on it and being like, oh, this is just an aggro deck, brain dead, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, technically, yes, but you have to think, like, not everybody's going to be able to spend money on this game. I'm not able to spend money on this game, at least not yet. And this deck is helping me climb. And it takes advantage of potential misplays and stuff, so that's kind of nice. But, one second, I need to figure out what I want to do here. I kind of want to play this, but it can't block. And it's one of the cards I want to discard with Get Excited, but I can always just discard something else. This just gets me board pressure, which is nice. But anyway, it takes advantage of misplays too. If they trade incorrectly or they attack incorrectly, you can get some value that way. It's just really, really nice. And yeah, everything about this deck is great. Before people get upset like, oh, this is just a dirty aggro deck, like, try to think about this from a perspective of a free-to-play player. Like, I know that there are a lot of people who are free-to-play because the deck is new, and 18% of the community plays this deck already. So it's fairly well-known, but still, it's great to just have a deck like this that's good. Obviously, I'm going to showcase better decks as we go, but for right now, I'm not necessarily going to do that. This guy, Used Cask Salesman, is actually a really, really good card because to use defensively, right? Because what he does is he creates 2 things that will automatically die at the end of the turn and have a death rattle or a last breath effect. But those effects go off either way, and they're gonna die at the end of the turn regardless of what I do. So just using this to block right now, so I only take 3 damage, is actually really, really good. It also means that next turn he loses the ephemeral. We go with a quick attack to do as much possible early game damage as we can, and we just try to capitalize on every little bit that we can. For those of you who don't know how the game works because you're watching me for the first time from Hearthstone, or you're just new in general, not spending mana means you can have up to 3 spell mana, which means that this turn I'm going to be able to probably do a decent chunk of damage. But like I said, for the same reason why I quick attacked last turn, I'm going to quick attack this turn. I don't want him to have a removal spell, so if I attack immediately, it doesn't give him the opportunity to block some of the damage. Now, theoretically, I can almost win this turn. That doesn't really matter to me. I have 9 mana, I have boom, 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 and I can basically kill his entire board. Or I can basically kill him this turn if he doesn't have healing. All because I attacked first and didn't give him a chance to play minions himself. So, if that's all he's gonna do, I will let it happen. He could have a negate, though, because that exists in this game. He could have a way of negating some of my spells, which would suck. So, what the plan here is to, if he does counter stuff and keep me alive... Oh, he's going to recall that. Oh, God, I should have killed it. But I wouldn't have had lethal if he did. He heals for 3 off of it. That's fine. I'll ultimately end up killing him with the Used Cask Salesman, so it's not actually that big of a deal. 4 mana could be the negate. 4 mana is how much it costs for a negate. So I'm going to... I think I still decimate here, right? I don't want to play this. I don't want to discard anything until the very end when I absolutely have to. I think just playing Decimate is a pretty decent play. He could counter it, as I said, but I do have a decent amount of damage. Still, I could just play this if I need to. I have some extra ping damage. It's not that big of a deal. Bring him down to 4. He's not really doing anything. He's going to play that in response, okay. I didn't want to fully commit, because if he had a negate, then I would have actually maybe screwed myself. So, in the last little bit, I will just play the Saboteur as a minion to protect myself with, and then I'll just pass. Give myself 3 mana at the end, and then probably just play Used Cask Salesman, trade in, do some extra damage with this, and ultimately get as much damage as I possibly can out. Because theoretically, I should win this game, just from damage in general. And him playing that doesn't matter. I could transfusion this to keep this alive, actually, which means that that doesn't go. I get to do 2 more damage. And this is where the timing comes in, right? You're like, oh no, he's going to kill my minion. Well, this deck has several ways of trying to play around this. So I'm going to keep it alive to do 2 damage to him, keep myself having a blocker, and we'll see where he goes from there. Also, since he played, it's now my turn, so I get to play the Cask Salesman, getting myself a little bit more damage. I get to block some more of his minions, and now the ball is in his court. He has to somehow come up with... He has to come up with some way of healing, dealing another damage. That's fine. I don't care about that. He's got no mana left, so theoretically, I just kill him here, actually. He'll also die to these at the end of the turn, so just because I know he has no mana left and can't really do anything about this, I'm just going to do that and then discard this, and that will get him down to 0. And as of right now, with only 2 mana, I know that there's not really much he can do, at least not with this class, and it does 3, it does 2, and I won a game. And this deck is now 20-3. This deck is absolutely smashing everything. And yes, I'm at a low rank, but I don't think that really matters personally. Okay, so actually this is great. Now you're actually going to see the biggest counter to this deck and my thought process going in and how to beat it. Into this matchup, he's going to attack, so I don't need to hard mulligan for any cards, right? I can if I want to, but I didn't really want to. I did end up drawing a 1-drop, which was great, but overall, this is fine. And then the next turn, we're going to play this Disciple right here. No. We're actually going to play the Rookie, because it gets me extra guaranteed damage. And then I can always get more damage with the Disciple with the cards in my hand. And we wait and see what he plays. He's probably going to be going Spiders, because he has Elise and Vi. 2 damage to anything? That's fine. Little disappointing, but he would have done that if I attacked anyway. I'll do 3 damage to him and then just pass. Ultimately, I think this is pretty fine, honestly. I'm going to end my round. He's going to be able to heal a decent amount, but as I already said, I'm not really concerned by any of this. I'm fine with him going down to 1. He could theoretically kill it this turn with a 2-mana spell that does 1 damage and gets him a 1/1, but okay, so he's not. Which means I'm going to play this rather than Quick Attack. And there's a plan here. The reason is Transfusion is a burst spell. So if he does try to remove this minion, that'll be his turn. Which means I burst this, keep him alive, and swing in for a lot of damage. Or if he plays a minion, I can swing in for damage, Transfusion, and somehow get a little bit of extra damage that way. So ultimately, I'm in a really good spot here. I have a ton of damage. He hasn't really drawn as much heal as he probably would like. Like I said, that's going to be his entire turn. So if I transfusion this to keep him alive, he goes to 3, he goes to 2 health. That's it. He takes 2 damage from this. These guys both live. I'll swing in for a lot of damage. And then hopefully I'll finish him off with like the Demolitionist soon. As you can see, he's already going down to 5 health. I have so much damage in my hand as is. He could Mystic Shot something. That would hurt. But it wouldn't be the end of the world for me. Oh, Vial? Okay, so he goes to 6. I don't really know why that's super important, but I mean, he might as well target that. He goes down to 6. It's his turn. I get 1 extra spell mana, which isn't super impactful, but it's a little bit nice. I have this and then this for fast damage, and I do actually have lethal here. So, that's pretty good. Brood Awakening. Actually, I also have lethal with Mystic Shot, but that's fine. We'll pass for now. We'll let him do that. That doesn't do too much. I'll then do 2 damage to my own guy. He's got no mana, so he can't really react to anything that I do here. Get him down to 2 health. I can kill him with literally any card in my hand at this point. So just a fun fact, for those of you who don't know how the interaction works, if I do kill this minion to do damage to his face, that block doesn't happen. I don't know if you saw this at any point, but by killing this minion, the block happens and I don't take damage, but since he died before I did damage to this doesn't take any damage and it lives. But as it stands right now, I'm going to kill him. See, that minion right there in the top left doesn't end up dying. It does still get blocked though. And we win another game. This deck is crazy good. I would recommend it for anybody who wants to try this game for the first time, and I'll probably play another game just for fun. For those of you who are curious about what I'm going to do in the future for this game, I am going to play a lot of other decks. Right? I'm not going to just stick with these. Also, I'm not going to stick with just these. I'm going to put some money into the game probably and play other decks, but while I am starting the game, trying to see if I like it, this is a great, still, as I've said before, this is a great, deck to start off with to see if I like the game just in general. And I'm going to be honest with you, I have 8 1-drops, and I hard mulligan for one, and I didn't draw one, which is a little disconcerting, but it's fine. Playing against another bad-ish matchup because they have the Shadow Isles, but it's fine. But as I said, I'm probably going to play other decks. If you guys have any decks you think I should play, I would be more than happy to try them out. I'm just going to pass. This is more of a combo card rather than a do a lot of damage kind of thing. So, or rather than attacking kind of thing. So, that's fine. It's 3-1 with Ephemeral. I'm going to play my 3-2. The 3-2, again, for those of you who didn't get this the first time I said this, this is a almost purely defensive card, in my opinion. Now I get to block and block this. I cannot block this because the Fearsome ability, for those of you who don't know, can only be blocked by enemies with 3 or more power, which means even if I wanted to, I could not block with this because it has Fearsome, or this. I want to block the damage. This is fine. And we're good to go. I block the damage. I kill off both of his minions die so I can quick attack next turn if I want to. Or I can set up some minions to attack. And I think that that's pretty good. We have Elusive. I run this card only because I don't have a lot of other cards and I felt the need to put something like this in. So I'm going to put the Elusive unit in. It's just going to be some chip damage every single turn, ideally. And maybe if he doesn't play anything, I can kill him with the Disciple. That's troubling, but ultimately still fine. We will let that happen. Then we will attack with both of these. If he wants to block this... If he wants to block this with one of his minions and take 2 damage anyway, that's fine. It'll live. He chooses not to, which makes sense. And then next turn, or this turn, probably should have played the Saboteur, but I kind of want to save it in my hand. No, maybe I should use it to block. I'm just thinking I have a lot of spells in my hand, right? So having extra spell damage would be good, but it's fine. I should have actually played it. As you can see, I'm new-ish to the game. I didn't see how little mana he had. That was just me not paying attention. So I technically missed out on 1 or 2 damage. Mostly just 1. But that's fine. I have other cards in my hand that can do damage. I'm totally okay with this. This is going to do 2 damage every single time unless he tries to kill it. And this deck is kind of forgiving, but also missing some damage can mean not getting lethal at the end. So if I end up losing the game by one, then I guess I deserve to lose. That's fine. I will play another Disciple. Basically, playing another Disciple means that he doesn't want to attack this turn. If he attacks this turn, then this 2-3 will actually do a lot of work. Wait, what? What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, for those of you who... I get to block here and here. He takes some damage. I don't want this to block because I want to do damage with it. He has 1 mana. He can't really do that much. He takes some more damage. This is elusive, so that's fine. And my turn, I play this. What he could have is the 1 mana card that does 1 damage to all of my units, which would suck. But I can't predict that he has that, right? Or I can't play around that necessarily. I kind of just gotta hope he doesn't, because this is a pure aggro deck. Currently, he's going to die. He's blocking both of those. He's probably going to play the spell. Maybe he doesn't. He's going down to 2. He can't block the 2/3, so I have 2, 3, 4 damage guaranteed going in. I'm okay with this block. And then I'll be able to activate this stuff later. I'm okay with my things dying. Now it's his turn, so I get to see what he plays, how much mana he spends on something, and then I'm going to be able to kill him in response, most likely. Also, it's nice to have this, because I have this 1 cost card that I'm totally fine discarding in response. But yeah, this you need to discard a card to activate it, so having a card in my hand and not playing the minion there gave me the perfect card to target in order to discard. He's searching for cards. I don't think that really matters. But I want to have the last laugh and have my thing go first, so I'm just going to do that. So my thing goes off first. I don't know. There's no reason not to do it. He had no mana and no way of finishing it off. And I just won another game. And like, this deck is really, really strong. I would recommend it to anybody who's trying to first start off playing the game. And you can upgrade it by putting in Draven or Jinx later if you need, or if you get the dust.